Hello friends, today we're going to be talking about how to build a high performance sales team. Think about this. Sales is the lifeblood of any organization. It is the fuel that can take any organization to the next level. Now just imagine if that sales team is a high performing sales team. The possibilities are endless. So how do you take a sales team that's average up to a very high performing sales team? Well, today you're in luck because that's exactly what I'm going to cover in today's video. So high performance as an individual or as a team is paramount for success. And today I want to help you evaluate your sales team's performance by first determining what high performance looks like for that team and how it differs from, say, normal performance. Secondly, I want to talk about some of the most important attributes that high performers have. And finally, talk about how we build that within our teams. If you're ready, let's go. So what type of environment fosters high performance? I honestly believe that everything starts with culture. So what is culture, right? If you were to sum up culture, what would you tell somebody? In my mind, culture is an environment that people just inherently believe in, right? They feel good. It fosters energy. It fosters excitement. It fosters unity. It's something where people are excited to show up every day to be a part of something. That type of culture really embodies where high performance can really thrive. And when you have that, people really want to be part of that. There's really three things that I think really foster this. Number one, you've got to instill confidence in these individuals, help them believe. So believe is number one. Secondly, they want to belong to something, right? So you believe, then you belong. Believe, belong, and when they belong, they feel like they're part of something greater than themselves. And finally, if they're part of that type of environment and culture, they're becoming a better version of themselves. So believe, belong, become is the mantra that I really like to create the type of culture that fosters high performance. You know, I've been fortunate to manage a lot of different sales teams, to manage executives. I also really enjoy coaching sports and athletics, and everything that I've been a part of, it's always started at the ground level with culture, right? I wanted to create the type of culture that people want to be a part of something. And in doing so, whether it's athletics, whether it's high performance teams, whether it's executives or sales organizations, culture is really the basis that allows us to begin that high performance. A lot of people might say, something that has good vibes, right? Positive vibes. And I really believe in that. If people can show up and they feel some good energy around what they're doing and who they're with, that also creates and fosters high performance. You know, one of the organizations that I've owned for the last few years, many years, year after year, and still to this date, we've been ranked as one of the best places to work based off of Glassdoor ratings. And these are anonymous ratings from employees within the company. So we don't know who rates what or what they rate, but we've received such high ratings from people within our organization that we've constantly been in the top 5 of best places to work in the state where my company is. So now let's talk structure. What type of structure when it comes to sales fosters high performance? Now, any type of structure, you need a head of that structure, right? So let's break it down to the very basic unit within sales. Let's call it a sales team. So within the sales team, you need a leader of that team or a team leader. So that type of structure, having a team leader at the head, is going to be the best type of structure, I believe, to foster the type of high performance you want. Secondly, beneath that team leader, you have sales members, right? Sales team members. And they're typically broken up in a couple of categories. Those that are beginning or prospecting or probing, right? We call them consultants. Those that are doing that initial finding or prospecting, those are consultants. Right above the consultants, you have the directors. They might be called closers. Those are the individuals that are a little bit more skilled. They understand the prospecting very well, but they also understand the second level of sales, which is closing the sale and collecting the pertinent information to drive a sales through. So just to recap, you have a team leader at the head, you have consultants or prospectors, you have closers or directors, and they all report to the team leader. Now, one thing that I've seen that works really well, even in that format, is that if you can create some competition, some friendly competition, and you can create an opportunity where there's a career path or opportunity for growth. So I've seen it a couple different ways. Even though there's prospectors, within those prospectors, you might have someone who is a head prospector or a head of the prospectors. They might manage or oversee 2 or 3 people. Typically, This is someone who's doing really well and understands the prospecting part of the business really well, and they can train others to do the same thing. Also, I've seen assistant team leaders. These are typically your closers that are doing well that can also manage, 3 to 5 individuals on the team in order to help them. And you might have 2 assistant team leaders, so you're going to see which assistant team is going to do well and perform well. So that type of structure that fosters competition, but excitement and energy and room for growth and opportunity fosters high performance. Just mentioning that with the teams creating competition, but I think competition throughout the organization is also healthy, right? High performers want to compete. They want to do well, not just against other people, but also against themselves. So how do you create the type of competition within oneself that drives high performance? Well, number one, help them see where they've been and where they want to get to. So posting numbers, statistics, metrics of people within the organization, of those sales representatives, and highlighting and rewarding those that are performing at a high level drives that competition, because people see that and they want to reach those heights. So having that type of leaderboard is also important and something that's visual that people can see. I learned this early on in my organization. One thing we look at on a regular basis within our organization when it comes to sales is a 6-week sales average. So we would post that every week, right? And some people would have a great week that would drop off their 6-week average and maybe have a bad week coming on or not as great a week, or they'd be dropping off a bad week and replacing it with a great week. And so everybody can have a great week in sales, but to be consistent is key. So those that were at the top of the 6-week average is really what they were driving for. And we would do competitions, spiffs, incentives all around that 6-week average. And also one thing that was really fun, in order to get somebody to really try to beat themselves and their previous performance, we would give them a reward or an incentive if they were able to beat their 6-week average over a new 6-week period of time. So you're constantly having people strive to beat previous record or their previous 6-week average with a new and better 6-week average. That type of environment, that type of competition fostered high performance. People were wanting to get better, learning to get better, and actually putting in the time and results to get better. Another element within high performance can be within that compensation, right? Compensation can be tricky. And the reason it can be tricky because there's a handful of different ways to compensate sales guys, right? Let's talk through those really quick. First off, there's commission only. Now, this is a little bit tricky, right? Commission only. Now, if somebody comes and shows up to work every single day, and let's say they don't get sales or enough sales to make a very good wage, and you don't pay them for being there at your workplace, but they're required to be to meetings, they're managed by somebody, that's something that could get you in a lot of trouble. So I'd highly recommend that you do it the right way and pay them at least a guaranteed minimum wage base if they're there, right? Now, obviously check with attorneys, check with the people that you trust that consult you on your organization, but commission only is typical those individuals that want that high reward, right? And commission might be a little bit higher, knowing that if they don't get sales, there might be that minimum wage base there. But with that, the company has less downside, right? The company's not paying a commission unless the commission's made, unless the sale is made. Another option for commission that could potentially foster high performance is a base plus commission. Now, obviously, if you're paying them a base, that commission is going to be lower than it might be if it's commission only, right? So it's interesting, right? It has to be something that doesn't maybe take care of all of their needs, that they're still incentivized and they have a desire to get sales. That base is just comfortable enough, but not so comfortable that if they don't get sales, they're like, oh well, at least I'm still getting my base, right? So it's got to be something that drives them to want to get more sales. Another one that's kind of unique, and we probably didn't come up with it, but we've used it in our organization many times, is a guaranteed minimum. Now, this has to be done for the right individual. What a guaranteed minimum is that you're guaranteeing the individual, the sales representative, a minimum amount of money over a period of time. We like to do 4 weeks. So-and-so is guaranteed at least X amount of dollars over a 4-week period of time. And it's something that traditionally meets all of their needs, right? Well, all of their basic needs. But if they have commissions that are greater than that, they get the commission. So let's say that this guaranteed minimum was $4,000 over 4 weeks, just to make numbers easy. Let's say 1 week they didn't get any sales. The next week they made $2,000. The next week they made $1,000. The next week they made $500. The guaranteed minimum is $4,000. They've only made $3,500. You're going to true them up with an extra $500 to get to that $4,000. However, let's say that 1 week they didn't get any sales. Next week $2,000. Next week $2,000, and that third week or that fourth week $2,000. They've made $6,000. You've guaranteed them $4,000. They keep what they've made. They don't owe the company any money, but they've exceeded their minimum wage. And we use this within our organization for one of our managers. Ended up being a great thing. He is probably one of the most loyal and dedicated individuals we have on our entire floor. Like I said, it has to be for the right individual. I think the last thing I want to talk about that fosters high performance in sales teams is having a reward system when the company does well. Because most sales individuals, most sales teams, they're in it for their team, for their individual sales to make money. But if you can tie that incentive, that growth, to a metric that the company really wins with, like if we had a certain dollar amount one week or 1 month or 1 quarter, right? If you can tie it to that and there's an incentive base for everybody in the organization, especially the sales teams, then that is going to continue to drive energy and excitement. So you have all these things, just to recap, that will drive high performance in a sales team: the structure, the culture, the competition, and then tying it to the organization, where when the organization wins at a certain period of time, that those individuals win as well. That type of environment is going to elevate the performance of your sales teams and as individuals and create an organization that is constantly reaching new heights. Now, these are some things that I've done in my organization that I've loved, that worked well. I'm not saying I know everything, so I'd love to hear your feedback. Please comment below. I'd love to enter in with a dialogue with you. And as always, I've got an amazing free gift for you. It's aaronsalstraining.com. It is 20 modules of some of the best persuasion and influence sales training that we've put together in our organization, and it's my free gift for you. Once again, thanks for stopping by, watching the video. Have an awesome day.